What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Power Podcast. I'm your host, DC, and I am here with my guy, Chai. Welcome to the podcast. If you wanna introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Chai. I'm a student here at Concordia as well, but I'm here majoring in digital marketing. Doing all sorts of things out in life too, man. Trying to get my own businesses and everything going. And hey, man, we're here for the ride, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Very involved. I know you're on CHUSA and stuff as well. The platform is yours, bro. What do you want to share with the people? Anything you're passionate about? Any stories you want to tell, or just some free game for the people watching?
Right, man. So I think what we're here to talk about, what I'm here to talk about and kind of share with you and everybody else is just kind of self-improvement, right? Self-improvement,
okay.
Kind of how to navigate through stuff, how I kind of navigate it, kind of like how I'd like to share people with how, like, kind of seeing how, maybe my stuff works for somebody else out there too. You don't know what
definitely
everything works out different.
Let's dive in, bro. So self-improvement. So really when I hear those words self-improvement, I think like you started in one place and you recognize that, man, this is not where I want to be right now,
right.
And then transformed into something else. So tell your story, bro. Like how has that concept affected you in your life?
Right. One thing that I like. So let me tell you a story.
Okay.
Right? So for the people that are listening through, like, just audio wise right now, they probably won't be able to see it.
Right.
But I'm full of tats, right?
Yes.
So the story that kind of relates back to that self-improvement, persistence, and everything. Like, everything goes so hand in hand, right, with self-improvement and everything else. Is that so there's a Japanese folktale that it talks about a koi fish going up a waterfall. It's a whole school of them, right? And so they're going up a waterfall, and they keep on trying to go up this waterfall because their feeding grounds is up at the top of the waterfall. So they keep on going. That's paradise for them, right? That's where all their goals is, everything, right? That's what they need to live. So the school keeps on swimming up the waterfall, but it's treacherous. It's hard, right? They can't do it. And eventually the school starts whittling down, like one by one, maybe even by the hundreds, until there's just one fish left. And the fish keeps on doing it for like 1,000 years. And then the gods finally, through his persistence, through his will, through his, like, whatever he had to go through for 1,000 years to not give up, is, they bless him and they help him get up the waterfall eventually. And then they, turn him into a dragon. And he becomes, like, even better. He gets, like, everything that he's ever dreamed of. And that story I hold dear to me. I got the whole story tatted on me.
Yeah,
so, like, you can see it.
You might be able to see the tat.
You might be able to see it, maybe not. But that story I hold dear to me on self-improvement and persistence, because, you're going through so much and you don't know what someone's going through, how that water is coming in at their face, how hard they're, like, trying to, like, get better and try to do better, right? But you improve, you change, you morph. And one of the interesting things about koi fish is, like, they'll actually change colors and scales throughout their, like, lifespan. So it's not, they're not just one thing for, like, their lifetime. They're changing colors, they're changing patterns, they're becoming something better than they were the last time. And I think for self-improvement, you're doing all that all at once as a human being as well. Right? We're all climbing up this waterfall, which is life, right? And then you keep on going at it. You sometimes you think about turning down, but then you won't become great, right? You won't become that dragon that you're trying to become.
Exactly, man. That's a great story, bro.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for sharing. I didn't know that. I didn't know nothing about that, and that's definitely gonna stick with me. So, okay. I want to ask you this then, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that maybe they get a self-help book, or they make this whole plan of different things they want to do and change around in their life.
Right.
I'm guilty. There's sometimes in my life where I'm like, I need to get my life together. I'm writing down all the things I need to change, and then eventually it's just like I don't get into those habits, or just like a one-day thing. So for the koi fish that didn't make it, right? Or even for yourself, like, putting it into real perspective here. Like, what advice do you have for the people that maybe run into a wall, or they got a hurdle or an obstacle? Like, have there been moments in your life where you're like, man, like, I don't see the top of the mountain, I don't see the waterfall. Like, it's like, what's the point of even continuing to pursue this if it's like there's no progress being made? Like, have there been any moments in your life where you've had to, like, push through that, or maybe just any advice that you might have relating to the people that have tried and maybe just didn't pursue it or persevere through that.
Right. Man, that's a real good question.
Look,
That's a
look,
good question.
Being real.
So it's funny that you say that because like with like the koi fish, like some of them didn't see the top either, and they all went back down. And I think and part of the story too is like they said that like it's okay, like for some people that get the tattoos as well, and some people how they interpret the story is too is like it's okay to not see the top and to want to go back down.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to like, you know, maybe instead of like going up against the tides of the waterfall, sometimes you gotta go with it, and maybe you'll find that there's something else better for you there, and then you'll like, you know, you'll slowly like scale back up top because, you know, not every fish is gonna want to go back up. Maybe some fishes like maybe they're like right there, right? You never know, and so, it's perfectly okay to not, you know, completely go all the way up. Sometimes it's okay to turn back down, right? It's what that koi fish, what you as a human being is looking forward to at that time, right? It's not just like, you know, oh man, I'm a failure. Like that guy went up and he became a dragon. I'm not a dragon. Like, sometimes a koi fish is more beautiful than a dragon. Like you don't gotta there are some koi fish that they're like angelfish. They look exactly like a dragon, but they got long fins. Like they're still beautiful in their own retrospect. You don't gotta be one to, you know, get one, right?
Okay, that's real.
It's real, man. And that's how I kind of see that, right? Like you can always turn back down. For me, I think the best thing that I love about this story, right, is the persistence of the koi fish. Because I think personally, persistence is consistency, and persistence is constancy. So you know, you're not giving up, and that's good enough, right? Because you know, any day you can wake up and just be like, all right, I'm done. I'm giving up. But it's that moment where you're like, yeah, I want to give up, but you know, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
And that's good enough. You don't gotta do anything to provide evidence for it. It's the will and it's the, you know, that's what's gonna keep you going. Because personally, I'm not like the most athletic. I'm not the most smart, and like, you know, I can barely, you know, do any of the other things that other people can do, right? But you know, I got it's the willpower that's my most strongest suit, and
love that. I love
that,
bro.
That's all that I can do. That's all I can provide, and you know, a story of that is just like, you know, trying to get back on, like how you were saying, like when I was able to do that, and I think one of the best things is just, you know, trying like literally coming back for like college, because I was like, I reached a certain point in my life where I was like, man, like is college really it for me? Like, is this really what I want to do? And you know, I kept on thinking about it. I remember taking I took a pretty big break. I was, you know, I almost didn't come back. Then I kept on going through it, living the motions, and I was like, you know, I think I do want to do this. And one of the things that, you know, a family member said to me was like, if you really think about it, did you really try hard enough actually? Like, if you think back on everything that you did you actually try the 100 possible solutions that you could have done?
That persistence that you were talking about.
That persistence. Did you actually try? Think back and look at it. And I was like, you know, that's true though. And we see it in movies too. Like with in Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
You got a million, you know, solutions, but are you gonna work hard enough to find that one? Because you only need to win once, right? You can lose a million times. You just need to win once.
Right.
That's how I kind of see everything.
That's man. You're cooking, y'all. I hope y'all listening. Okay. So thank you for sharing that, and I'm gonna share a short story. And then I got one more question for you to wrap it up. For me, it was basketball, right? I played basketball since I was like 5, and I was kind of like a overly emotional kid. Like I would always get really down on myself if I had a bad practice or if I got like constructive criticism from a coach or whatever. And I will never forget, I was with my older cousin. He's like really the one that got me into playing basketball because he played in high school and all this stuff. So he took me to the gym one day, and he was kind of like coaching me up, and he was hard on me that day on purpose. He's like, man, when you get on a real team, the coaches like may not be nice to you and this. And I wanted to quit. I did not want to play basketball anymore. Since that day, I'm like, man, like I'm done with basketball. I'm about to find a new sport, whatever. And I don't know what snapped in me, because when we had gotten done, that same night, I went outside in our driveway and I was just shooting around by myself. And I'm like, man, like, just because I was failing at this one thing, that doesn't mean that I just need to, like, just give up. Because, like, I was really bad with my left hand. Like, that's why he kept going. He's like, you got to make 10 before we leave. And I kept missing. I was getting all sad and stuff. And I was young, you know.
Right.
But then when I was getting them, I was actually making them. Like, it's those little wins. It's like, man, I made 10 in a row. I'm good. You know, I'm actually getting a feel for it. You know what I mean? So it's that persistence, bro. I love that story. One more thing that I think people might want to hear is, in those times, I know you were talking a little bit about your story, about that, you know, that college experience and kind of being in between, like, is this really for me? Do I want to come back?
Right.
But I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily see their why. Like there could be all these different things that are in their life, and they're like, what's the purpose? Like, why am I getting out of bed in the morning? Why am I, like, reapplying for school? Why am I going outside and doing left-hand layups? Like, it's that, like, purpose and that why that sometimes lead to that persistence. In my head, you correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have any advice, or even just, like, in your own personal story of, like, how you were able to find that why of, like, you know, what was that, like, determining factor for you that was like, yeah, like, I'm about to go back into school and do this? Like, was there any steps that you took to figure that out for yourself? Any, like, self-discovery? Because you said, like, self-improvement. I feel like it has to be kind of driven by a purpose and a driving force. What's the engine behind your self-improvement, you know? Anything on that? I threw a lot at you.
Yeah, you good. Man, I got an answer for that, though.
Okay.
I think, you know, personally, when the why is always the big question, right? We ask it to everybody. We ask it, you know, in our times of sadness, madness, happiness, and everything. Like, why me, right? Why did this happen to me? Or, like, you know, I'm happy that this happened, but why did it happen, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that kind of help with that is, in relation to this answer, you know, I get a lot of, like, answers sometimes about that. I'm a really extroverted person, so it's like I'm always happy, I'm always happy people. I'm always, like, you know, ready to talk to people, and everybody's always like, you know, sometimes, like, you're a little too positive. Like, you're a little too positive. Like, why are you always so positive? You always say hi to people, and it's like, you gotta be happy for yourself, and you gotta maintain the optimism for yourself, because not everybody's gonna be optimistic for you. Right. So it's like, you know, you do it for yourself, and then you carry it on to others.
Yeah.
And in correlation to that answer is, the drive and the why is remembering the happiness and the feelings that you got from it in the first place that makes you want to keep on doing it.
That's real.
Because it's like, you know, like when you said, like when you made the 10, I made 10 with my left hand. Yeah. I want to go for 20. Like, right? You start wanting to, like, oh, you know, I could do it. And then it's like, yeah, sometimes you reach that and you're like, man, like, I only did 15. Like, maybe I can't possibly reach 20, but you keep on going. You remember when you made the 10, it's like, and then you want to keep on going. You want to get to the 20, and that's where, like, I know where it's like, I know I want to do that too. Like, that's why I want to go back. That's why I want to, you know, I push myself and be positive for myself, and the self-improvement, right? You can't, you're going to be stuck, and when you get stuck, then, you know, who's going to pull you out of that bed that you made, you know? People don't get out of their bed themselves, right? You have something that kind of pulls you out of bed every single day. I gotta go get some work done. I got some people to meet. I gotta, like,
you got people relying on you.
I got people relying on you. Yeah. There's always a pull factor, right? And I think that that works with people too, other people in your life too. It's that persistence works not just with yourself to improve yourself, but to help and improve others too. Because you know, when you don't give up on yourself, you find that you'll often don't give up on others. And that's something, that's like a story that's something that's happening to me right now too. Like, you know, you want to move on from them, you want to stop, and you're like, you know, I'm done, but it's like, you know, you ain't give up now. Why you gonna give up? You ain't give up then. Why you gonna give up now? Right? Remember everything that you had to go through with them, and you know that should be the why, because you want to experience those things again. And it's not to say, and there does come a point in time when you're like, you have to become the koi fish. You gotta go back down. You're like, okay, this ain't it. I gotta swim back down. Maybe I'll gather enough courage this time to swim back up, and that's perfectly fine too. But it applies to so much, that self-improvement. You know, it's not just about yourself, because then when you improve yourself, you improve everybody else around
That's
you.
real, bro.
And
That's real. We be talking about like
happens,
you can't pour from an empty cup, y'all. Like
Yeah.
you have to pour into your cup before you pour into other people's cup. You know?
Yes, sir.
It's that like if I'm a koi fish swimming up, I can't swim up and carry you with me unless I'm good. That's real.
That's real. That's real. That's why you can't save a drowning person. Because if you're not good and you don't know what you're doing,
Y'all both drown.
Y'all both drown. So you better like get yourself right. Go through the training so then you can save the person with
that's
you. Man.
real, man.
That's
Chai, what a story, what a message. I hope that y'all took something from this. I do want to give you the opportunity. This is a platform. If you have anybody that you want to lift up, maybe Chusa, maybe some family, anybody that might be watching this video today that you want to give a shout out to by any means.
Right, man. Whew. There's a lot of people to shout out, but I'll leave it general, right?
Okay.
The shout out to everybody here is, I hope that everybody is improving themselves to succeed at what you're trying to do. Whether it's like my own family members, my loved ones, people who are like, Chusa, like anybody out there, right? Whether you're struggling, whether you're doing great, it don't matter. I wish and I want you all to succeed. That's the biggest thing, because there's the saying, it don't hurt my success to see you succeed. So, as if everybody succeeds, we all good. We're all living. Everybody can coexist because we all have our own successes.
He dropping some real nuggets. Please share this. You never know what message might impact somebody's life in a positive way. You never know what people need to hear, or if somebody's just like fiending for community. There's community within our stories, and there's so much power in our voice and self-improvement. And I think this was a great message today. So thank you, Chai, for tapping in. Appreciate you,
Thanks
man.
for having me,
of
BC.
course, and thank you for joining in on another episode of the Power Podcast.
Appreciate you.